Welcome back to F and Y, people. And today, probably to much of the joy of our trolls and whatnot,
and much to the chagrin of our party,
we're actually going to take a big old shit on the Democratic Party, on the Democratic establishment.
Because, and let's be clear, let's be forthcoming here, we are both registered Democrats, but we both wish that we could be, like, we're just independent.
Yes.
Right?
Not libertarians, because y'all are fucking crazy too.
Yeah, libertarians were born on third base thinking they hit a triple.
Libertarians are house cats that think that they're predators of the wild. Because, like, no taxation. No, we need taxes, okay? You crazy fuckers. To pay for shit like roads, police, healthcare, education, the fire department, EMTs, all that shit. Public services is what we need taxes for, okay? Taxation is theft. Only when it's being used for corporate subsidies. Corporations are taking our tax dollars away with tax cuts and the big beautiful bill. That's when it's tax theft. But I digress. This isn't about you crazy libertarians and you crazy Republicans.
This is about you crazy Democrats.
Fucking Democrat establishment. And also, let's get another thing clear right now. We're not liberals, we're progressives.
Yes, because I would like to see this country progress.
I'm not one of those vegan motherfuckers that, thinks that... I don't even know what the fucking far left liberals think. Like, that is so off my radar that I don't even want to pay attention because I'm like, Jesus, there's really no difference between you and the far right. It's like fascism versus fascism.
I will say that there's an element to the far left that wants to see just as many rights abolished as the right does. They just want different rights abolished, right? Like and not even necessarily rights, like as written into the Constitution, but just like my right to eat meat, right? Like PETA wants to take that away.
I'm like, you shut the fuck up.
But humans are animals, and animals eat animals. Not all animals eat animals, but some animals eat animals, and we're one of the animals that eat
omnivores.
We are omnivores.
Omnivores eat meat. Our teeth are designed to eat meat.
Well, we digress. What brought up the whole, let's shit on the Democratic establishment was actually the election of, and I hope I'm pronouncing his name right. Yes, the election in New York, the primary where Mamdani?
Zohran Mamdani? It's Mamdani. Yes, Mamdani.
Mamdani, okay. I'm probably going to get that wrong.
And if we're butchering your name, dude, we're sorry. We're not,
Yeah, I've only read it. I've never actually heard it spoken, so, because I read a lot. I don't actually listen to the news a lot. The primary was insane because, and we've seen this happen in other places across the country. We saw this happen with Bernie Sanders in 2016. But
yeah, I mean, if it wasn't for fucking superdelegates, Sanders would have knocked the shit out of fucking Hillary Clinton. And he would have beat Donald Trump, and we would have never been in this fucking predicament that we are right now.
Democrats, and I read this in the New York Times, Democrats actually joined with Trump supporters to help defeat Mamdani by creating a super PAC with Trump supporters to try to defeat Mamdani. That's how low the establishment went to try to defeat one of their own. Instead of letting it just be a fair fucking election, they decided to side with the Republicans and trying to defeat him to get Cuomo elected.
Now, let's talk about why.
And let's be clear also that Cuomo is a corrupt fucking politician.
Let's talk about why they don't like Zohran Mamdani. And that's because he is what they call a Democratic Socialist.
He's for the people.
And he's for the working class, just like Bernie Sanders. That's why there was such a big push to make sure that Sanders didn't beat Clinton in 2016. That's why we had superdelegates. It wasn't for the fucking superdelegates. And it pisses me off. And once again, the only reason why we're fucking Democrats is because we've rutted ourselves into this, two-party system. I mean, we do have independents that run. We have Jill Stein that always runs and fucking loses. And then whatever the Libertarian Party produces. And then whatever the Green Party produces. I mean,
Jill Stein is the Green Party.
Is she?
Yeah.
Who was the Green Party?
Larry Lessig?
No, there was one person. Fuck, what was his name?
I don't know who you're talking about because those are the two most famous Democrats, or those most famous Green Party candidates that I know of.
No, there was another one. I almost voted for him in fucking 2004. Ralph Nader.
Oh, was he the Green Party?
Yeah, Nader was. Yeah, you're fact checking me right now. Oh God, jeez, just like a liberal.
No, I was fact checking myself, making sure that Larry Lessig was also Green Party because I realized that I could be wrong about that.
And I know y'all are thinking, oh, maybe you guys should come in a little bit more prepared. You know what? Go fuck yourself. And also, I think we also need to get a whole. No, he was a Green Party member.
So they have Larry Lessig down as being a Democrat, but I'm pretty sure that he was a subset of the Democrats, like the Green Party. So like the Green Party is a subset of Democrats in the same way that like, you know, the
Alright, so I just like looked up this Lawrence Lessig, and why does he look like a fucking supervillain off a goddamn Bond movie?
He does a little bit, doesn't he?
Yeah, like, hello, Mr. Bond. We are about to release all the nukes that we have on your precious little country.
Well, let's not attack him based on how he looks. Let's attack him based on what he thinks, which is, you know, some of his ideas I think are a little questionable. Like, he wants to not do away with, but severely lessen, like, copyright and trademarks, which I do think is not necessary. Like, I do think that those are necessary to ensure that once you create something, you have a right to that thing for a long time. Now I do think that Disney like completely corrupted that by making a copyright like 100 years.
Walt Disney corrupted something?
Walt Disney corrupted a lot in the business world.
Walt Disney, who was discovered to be able to finance some of his stuff with Nazi gold?
But anyway.
We digress. The
again.
Democratic establishment who has decided to side themselves, and we're talking about even though like I've seen some reports that Chuck Schumer is like, you know, behind Mamdani right now, but before was like, oh God, no. Like, and we're talking about Chuck Schumers, we're talking about the Nancy Pelosi's, we're talking about the fucking Clintons, we're talking about these old school Democrats that have very much set up an empire, as it were, you know, playing this facade with the Republicans. You know, we're going to count, you know, it's a fencing game, you know, it's a cat and mouse and whatnot, where, you know, we're gonna play fight against one another, because in the end, like, what happens to us or what happens to the American people doesn't really matter to us, because if it did, you know, we would not pull our punches when it comes to you. And I'm seeing, especially with the younger Democrats coming into play, like AOC and Caesar and my brain's not working right now. But these younger quote unquote Democrats are coming in and been like, hey, you old fuckers, shut up, get out of here, we got work to do.
See, one of the things that I like about, so one thing that I think that we can learn from the upset, because it's been considered a political upset, of Mamdani overtaking Cuomo, winning the primary, winning that election, is we've got to get money out of politics. Because the idea that the Democratic base joined with Trump supporters to undercut to try to undercut the will of the people, what would be the will of the people, to elect whoever they wanted to elect, whether it be Mamdani or Cuomo, is, to me, insane. Like, and I think we've got to get money out of politics, because that way it truly can be, you know, not who can outspend who, but who best speaks to what the people want. And I think it's amazing, because one thing that I read about Mamdani is that he won the support of the Gen Z men, which guess who the Democrats were losing to Trump?
Gen Z men.
The Gen Z men.
Because the Gen Z men have this whole, because they're called the Alpha generation.
Now, the Alpha generation is a different generation.
Oh, is it?
That's the children of millennials, is the Alpha generation.
Yeah, see, I'm so far fucking get off.
But we were losing them. We were losing the half of the youth vote to Republicans, which is insane, because all they care about, and they do care about social issues, but they're seeing their world being completely and utterly corrupted, and they want to, they want to fix that. They don't want money in politics. They don't want, the old heads at the table. They want whoever's going to work for the poor. One of the things that I read about the campaign is if you ask Cuomo supporters, like, what does Cuomo stand for? A lot of them struggle to put into words what he stood for. But if you ask, Mamdani's supporters what he stood for, a lot of them had like quick answers, like freeze rent, free buses, a city you can live in, a city you can afford. Okay, so these are what we're talking about with Karen, a couple weeks ago. These little bitty pieces of like, this is what you can grab onto, but it's actual policy. Free buses in New York, that's a good policy because New York is very much a commuter city. It's a city with a lot of pedestrians. It's a city with a great fucking metro system where like mass transit system and free buses. That's something that can actually help New Yorkers. Freezing rent. Rent in New York is, high as fuck. Like, I can't even imagine living in New York with the rent that they pay. They pay well over what we pay for our mortgage here in Tennessee. Like, well over, several times over what we pay for our mortgage here in Tennessee for rent on an apartment. So yeah, freeze rent, that's something that you can grab onto and be like, yes, that helps me. That helps me stand up and have a place to live in a city that is overrun by corporations, because New York City is overrun by corporations. It's overrun by money. It's a very wealthy city.
And what a lot of people don't realize until recently, when I can't remember who it was that made this post, New York is almost half unborn or unnationalized citizens. It's immigrant, and it has been. Like, there was a representative from somewhere talking about the amount of people that lived in New York that voted for Mamdani was like 40%, and they were like, there's that many immigrants in New York, and somebody was like, let me give you a brief history on New York there, bud. New York's been immigrants since basically the creation of fucking New York.
Oh yeah, since before when it was called New Amsterdam.
Yeah, New York's been the basically mecca of the pot, the cultural mixing pot of the United States since fucking the 1800s. So you come into the table now and be like, oh my god, 40% of the population of New York's fucking immigrants is nothing new.
No, it's been that way. It's been that way. It's where a lot of people entered the country, through Ellis Island.
I mean, I was about to say fucking Ellis Island. Like, how many Irish people?
How many Italians?
How many Jews?
And these are people who came, like, they're immigrants. They're immigrants from, like, a long time ago. So they're our ancestors, right? And we don't like to think about that. The fact that, like, our ancestors were immigrants. Either you were brought here as an immigrant, you're a full-blooded, American indigenous person, or you were brought here on a slave ship. Those are the three ways that your ancestors came into this country.
Well, and also, as someone once said, you can't scream, illegals are coming here on stolen land.
Exactly.
And
because they stole this land.
Well, I mean, we bought it. Like, really? Yeah, but what we paid for it was pennies on the dollar.
And we bought it.
Also, we not only just, like, the Louisiana Purchase was like pennies.
And we bought it from people who stole it.
But we also took all the fucking indigenous people that were there and said, hey, get on this trail we got. And here's some blankets.
And we bought it from people who stole it, which, think about that. Like, if you steal, a TV, and then I buy that TV is still stolen. It is still stolen property. Me buying the TV doesn't get me out of the fact that, like, buying stolen property is actually a fucking, felony in most places. Like, I don't know of any places where it's not a felony, come to think of it.
Well, it's not a felony until it reaches a certain dollar amount.
Well, it can be a misdemeanor, but still. The buying of stolen property is, generally speaking, because I think it's theft over 1,000. Here in Tennessee, I think it's theft over 1,000. I could be wrong about that. Please fact check me, any lawyers that are out there.
I think it's a theft over anything.
No, theft over 1,000 is a felony in Tennessee. I'm pretty sure, because there are people in prison for theft over 1,000, and you don't go to the pen unless it's a felony.
Because what's happening right now is giving me certain vibes. I'm trying to find it. I want to make sure I get this guy's name right. And the vibes that I'm picking up is the primary race, it's a presidential race that Harry Truman won.
Okay.
It's the Chicago convention, the Democratic convention. Because Harry Truman originally did not win the Democrat primary nominee. And let's say, last name I'm pretty sure was Wallace.
George Wallace?
No, Henry Wallace.
Henry Wallace.
Henry Wallace won the Democratic primary in 1940, whatever it was. I think it was 48. And they actually had, they redid it again. And the reason why Henry Wallace did not win is because Henry Wallace was more like Teddy Roosevelt. In the sense that he, instead of going out and hobnobbing with the aristocrats, he preferred a quiet night in. He spent time with indigenous people's shamans. He, gave more to the people. Harry Truman was a fucking aristocrat. He hobnobbed and shook hands with the corporations and shit, and they had to do basically another one. It was like the 2000 election all over again, where, Gore won, but then they did a recount, and all of a sudden in Bush's, brothers'
State
area,
of Florida, yeah.
Yeah. It was announced that Gore won, but then old Jeb Bush was like, G-Dell, what do you want me to do? I need you to fudge the numbers. Yeah, it's the same thing.
So hold on, you think that the numbers were definitely fudged?
You
think the numbers were fudged in 2000?
I think the numbers were fudged in 2000. I think the numbers were fudged in the 1940s. Whenever there's a person, and I don't think Gore is part of the Democratic establishment, and I think that's another reason why they wanted to push him out, because Gore was very much, hey, we need, renewable energy. We need, more stuff for the people. Whenever there's a president, or whenever there's somebody that comes along that is for the people, both establishments lose their fucking mind. Because if the establishments lose that grip on the people of, making sure they stay in line, put in their place, so that we don't come together and overthrow the oligarchs that are actually running this fucking country.
And we do have oligarchs running this country, and Elon Musk isn't the only one.
Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates, the Waltons.
So speaking of Bezos, I keep seeing all over the news, Jeff Bezos' wedding, Jeff Bezos' wedding. And I'm like, I don't give a fuck about Jeff Bezos' wedding. If he wants to spend his millions and billions on an elaborate fucking wedding, I don't give two fucking shits. Make the motherfucker pay his goddamn share of fucking taxes. And that's what I give a shit about. I don't give a fuck who he married. I don't give a fuck how many celebrities were at his wedding. I give a fuck if the motherfucker is paying his share of taxes. Because that's what feeds this country, is taxes. And if every motherfucker who made millions and millions or billions and billions of dollars paid their share of their fucking taxes, this country would be in such a much better fucking place.
Warren Buffett said, I can fix the deficit in 5 minutes. Whenever GDP is lower than 3%, every sitting member of Congress is fired.
You and I were talking the other day, and there was an idea that you had that I had heard before, which is...
I know what you're talking about, and I kind of stole that idea.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't steal the idea. I heard that idea from somebody else, which is whatever state you represent, your income is that state's minimum wage. If your state's income is $7.20, minimum wage is $7.25 an hour, you get paid $7.25 an hour.
So I don't think that it should necessarily. So I do agree with you. I don't think it should be minimum wage because I do.
No, I think it should be minimum wage.
Here's why I don't think it should be minimum wage, because I don't think that, I think they should get paid the equivalent of whatever a bachelor's degree makes in that state. Here's why.
Because you finish, but
I think that, first of all, I think that in order to be a sitting member of Congress, you should have to have a background in political science.
You should have a bachelor's degree at least.
And I think that you should have a background inside that degree. I think you should have to have a background in fucking finances, because you're going to be passing laws that...
Well, as long as you also surround yourself with people.
Yes, but that's the one thing I think that you should absolutely positively have to have a background in, is political science and finance, in order to run a a state or to speak for that state, I think you just have to have an understanding of like what the economy is and what it does.
Also, well, they need to take a course in econ at least.
But
also, the number one thing that I think surpasses both of those things is if you want to be a representative of any state, on any level, you need to pass an IQ test.
that takes out Marjorie Taylor Greene.
And Lauren Boebert
And Lauren Boebert.
and fucking Kennedy and a bunch of other people.
And Trump.
And yeah, if you can't pass an IQ test, you don't need to be fucking representing anybody. And if you want to make sure that people know that you're special, you better wear a fucking helmet.
The reason I think it should be based on the minimum, like the average for a bachelor's degree, is because I think that you should have to have, at the minimum, a bachelor's degree to show that you are at some level educated, that you're on some level educated.
Now, I will say, to go back just a second, I think every member should be paid the minimum wage of the state because, let's face it, a lot of them who got to where they are right now, they already have the money. They're campaigning, whatever it is that got them to where they are now. They have the money. Whether or not they also took some of that money and put it in other endeavors that make them money. Because to be a representative, you don't have to stop having, businesses and shit. So if you have a business on the side making you money, there is no reason why being a representative should make you even more money. So no. And if you want your pay to increase because you're a representative, you have to raise your state's minimum wage.
Yeah. But then I do think that you run into like people just overinflating their state's minimum wage so that they can make a living dollar, and then that not being sustainable. So,
well, see, that's just it though. It could be sustainable because then you're forcing the corporations to pay people a living wage, because a living wage
but
right now, according to inflation and everything, should be 20-something fucking dollars an hour.
Yes. Which is more than I make.
It's more than I make.
As a person with a bachelor's degree. Which is why I think it should be based on what the average person with a bachelor's degree.
Yeah, see, I don't agree with that, because just because you have a bachelor's degree doesn't mean shit a lot of times. Because you can have a fucking bachelor's degree in goddamn liberal arts.
And I think there's a place in this world for people with bachelor's degrees in liberal arts.
Yeah, but you're also cutting out the people who go to like community colleges.
No.
Yeah, yes,
think,
because there's no bachelor's program for fucking trade school.
But that's the equivalent of associates.
Yeah, right there. Equivalent of an associate's, not a bachelor. And I have met, and I will not say that college degrees do not help people, but I will also say that there are a lot of college educated people out there who are dumb as a fucking box of goddamn rocks.
That may be true, and I don't think,
because I will take somebody who, like in my field, I work in the construction, building supplies and shit. And if I'm building a house, and if somebody comes up to me and be like, oh, I have a bachelor's degree that I just received in carpentry. And then somebody else comes along and says, I've been in carpentry for 30 years and I don't have a degree. Who the fuck you think I'm going to go with?
So, two things. One, a trade school education is considered the equivalent of an associate's degree. I don't think that's fair. I think if you spend 4 years training to be a mechanic, you should have the equivalent of a bachelor's degree because you spent 4 years training to be a mechanic.
Also, I think a lot of the trade school shit, like trades, should be definitely more on-the-job training. Now, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of stuff you can learn in a trade school. But what they teach you in trade school is definitely just kind of by the books and shit like that. But once you get into real-life applications, a lot of that shit just goes out the fucking window.
This is why I say, because I did study carpentry, but I say that I'm a carpenter in theory only, because most of what there was a lot of on-the-hands training, in what I learned. But a lot of what I learned was by the book. So I'm good at the by the book stuff, I'm good at the theory stuff, I'm good at the idea stuff, but I'm not so good at the actual manual application of carpentry. Ask me to go out there and build you a desk, and I can probably do it, but I'm not going to do it in the fastest way possible. I'm not going to do it in the easiest way possible, because I don't have that. I have the technical training, but that's all I have is the technical training.
And there's a lot of the technical training that, like the technical training, I think also leaves out a lot of shit as well. Because in that technical training, you might only be taught like butt joint or miter joints and stuff like that. But then once you get out into the real world, and somebody's like, I need you to do a mortise and tenon.
Well, no, I don't think that's accurate.
And I'm just throwing that out there because, to help along. But like, there's a lot of things, you know, when building jigs and whatnot, and there's a lot to be expanded upon. That's why we have apprentice, journeyman, novice, and then, you know, master. Well, it goes apprentice, novice, journeyman, and then master. And apprentice is generally where you get your education. Journeyman is when you go out into the world and you realize that everything you learned in the books, okay, there's a lot, and they will also teach you a lot of shit in those schools that have no application whatsoever. And then you become, you know, or you become a novice, and then once you become a novice, you know, join with the journeyman, and they're like, yeah, you can take, you know,
so I think a good way.
It's like showing up the fucking war with a backpack full of shit, and you're like, you know, ready to go into the jungle, and they're like, what the fuck are you doing?
So we'll say
take that backpack off. You don't need all that bullshit. What you need is this, that, and this, and you'll get the job done. And you're like, but we were taught that we need all this. Yeah. Guess what, Buttercup? This is the real world. You fucking don't.
So here's a good way to put it, I think, is that my carpentry education taught me the math and the science of carpentry. It didn't teach me the art of carpentry.
Yeah, like a lot of what I think when it comes to trades is the biggest teacher is just doing it. Because classes will teach you, you know, oh, you have to like push the wood this way through, you know, the table saw to make sure that, you know, that this doesn't happen. But it doesn't teach you like other way that you can manipulate the wood or the tool. Because they'll be like, oh, this is the safest way to do it. Oh, okay, cool. And then somebody else comes along and be like, hey, I'm gonna show you something. Be like, that's not safe.
Dude.
Yeah, I know. But guess what? If you do it just like I do, and you make sure you pay the fuck attention, you're not gonna get hurt.
I do want to say that I think that is generally true, but just to be clear, in my carpentry education, that was not specifically true because Mr. Mack did not believe in safety.
Yeah, from what you told me, your fucking woodworking instructor also fucking said dumb shit like, no, you don't lift with your legs, you lift with your back. How can you lift with your fucking legs?
He did say things like that. He did not believe in lifting with your legs because he didn't think it was possible to lift with your legs. And we tried to teach him like why it was possible to lift with your legs, and he wouldn't listen to it. Like, it's just, that's not a thing. You lift with your back.
Yeah, no.
And then guess who got a slip disc?
Like, you watch, there's, and we're getting off track, but back to the Democratic establishment and their fucking fear of these new people rising up, like Mamdani and, well, AOC's, you know, been there for a while, even though I will say AOC has said some shit, but I'm just like, alright, listen, I get what you're trying to pull off, but it's, no. This whole, where she was talking about, you know, we need to stop eating, you know, beef because of the methane that cows produce. So it's just, we need to cut out beef, and it's like, alright, listen. I know, and I get that cows produce a buttload of fucking methane.
Literally.
Giggity. Pun intended, not giggity. But at the same time, you can't be like, we need to just stop eating meat, or stop eating beef. You got to be like, all right, listen, cows produce a lot of methane, so we have to do something about that. And I think that's another thing that the Democrats fucking lose a lot of footing on as well, because the Democrats will say dumb shit like, you know, the AR in fucking AR-15s stands for assault rifles. No, the fuck it doesn't.
I've never heard anyone actually say that, though.
No, they have.
I've heard that be, like, said on the right, that people say on the left, but I've never actually heard it said.
No, I have seen these videos and I've read these articles where these fucking Democrats come out and be like, yeah, no, the AR stands for assault rifle. I'm like, no, it fucking doesn't. It's armament light. Now, the creator of the AR-15 has come out and said that it is supposed to be, the AR-15 was supposed to be a more compact, more versatile version of the M16. And it wasn't really meant for civilian use when it comes to, you know, protection and things like that. Who really needs an AR-15 for fucking hunting and shit?
You don't.
I shot it, and don't get me wrong, I will sit here and say I fucking love them. I want to shoot every fucking gun I can. The mechanics, the chemistry, the science behind guns. Oh my god, it fills me with so much fucking joy.
Science of killing things?
No, not the science of killing things. Because if you can talk about goddamn martial arts and you can say it's the science of fucking killing. You can say the science of fucking, knives and say it's the science of fucking killing things. It's just the science behind it.
Well, but it's killing things more efficiently.
It's the tool itself. Because you can argue that bow and arrow, the science behind bow and arrows is just, it's a killing thing.
Except an AR-15 is a lot more efficient than a bow and arrow.
Right. And an AR-15 is more, well, not really efficient.
At killing, it is. You can kill a lot more people with an AR-15 than you can with a bow and arrow.
You can kill them quickly. You can make the death more quickly. It doesn't make it necessarily more efficient because you can still fucking miss. If you
but it's harder to miss with an AR-15 than it is with a fucking bow and arrow.
I will give you that. But to make the whole argument, the science behind killing, no. Fuck off. The science behind the tool itself. Because...
Which is, in essence, I think, the science of killing.
No, because you can use it as sport shooting, target, like precision shooting. There's a whole fucking genre and shit where people target practice and whatnot. Nothing's being killed.
But what are the targets?
They're metal fucking targets and paper targets and shit. There's nothing being killed. There's a whole group out there that do precision shooting. And they're shooting fucking.
But the design of a gun was invented to kill.
So was a knife.
Well, knives were invented to cut.
The spear.
Spears were invented to kill.
Swords
were invented to kill.
Yeah. Let's shut that shit down right now.
I'm not saying that they weren't. I'm just saying that's what a gun was invented for. A gun was invented to kill.
And originally it was invented to kill animals, to make hunting better.
Were they?
Yes. We didn't turn on humans with those things until one day somebody's like, oh, I can take this and, use it against, Frank over there. And I could be wrong, but...
Actually, it was military usage. They're invented for the military.
Alright, well, guess what? The military also fucking invented the goddamn internet. So, it's a tool that was misused.
Well, no, it's been used for its proper purpose. Like, its proper purpose is killing. And I'm not going to say that there's no reason to kill. I think there are lots of reasons to kill. I just think that not everyone should have the power to kill so efficiently.
We're digressing, because you and I can have this argument, all day. This might be a whole other episode.
This is probably a whole another episode.
But back to the Democrats, the establishment, who are pissing themselves right now because the arguably biggest city in this fucking country has now got possibly coming up, depending on what the billionaires and whatnot decide to do to run against him for mayor. Even though Trump himself has said that he's been lined up to be elected the new mayor, we have a Democratic Socialist, and the fire word, the trigger word, is socialist. Because so many people are worried about that fucking word because they automatically assume and affiliate the word socialist with communist.
It's not the same thing.
Far from the fucking truth. Socialism gives the people who produce the labor the power, where communism is a government that's ruled by a fucking dictator.
So there are some similarities between socialism and communism, but the thing is socialism is an ideal, where communism is a political establishment. In communism, there is a central leader that oversees the production of...
It's a state-run, basically, everything.
Yes, and that's not what socialism is. Socialism just means the people who produce the thing have the power.
Yeah, it's the people who are, making your cars, getting more bang for their buck than the person sitting behind the desk going, I want more cars made, and not actually doing anything to make those cars made. Now, a lot of people don't also realize one of the greatest manufacturing minds in this fucking country, in this history, Henry Ford, which fucking salute to him, one of the most genius financial motherfuckers in this history, was a bit of a socialist.
He didn't believe in paying his people a living wage, therefore that way they could afford his vehicles.
His idea was, my greatest customer, so I need to make sure that my employees can afford the products that they make, because I want them to buy the product that they make, and if they do, or if they can afford to make the products that we make, they're going to make sure that the products that they make are the best that they can make.
Yeah.
They're going to put that energy. They're like, oh, I can afford this. One day, let me make sure that what I'm making, because I might be able to I might buy this one day. I want to make sure this is the fucking best thing that comes off this fucking assembly line.
Yeah, if you're making things for rich people, you might not care as much about the quality because you're never going to be able to be in it.
Yeah.
But if you're making it for people who you know and for yourself, then you care about the quality because you might end up owning that one day.
Yeah, and when the rich person is like sitting there going, hey guys, I want you to make the best product possible because I want you to own this one day. I want to make sure you own this one day. Your employee is going to be like, so you're going to pay us to be able to afford this? Absolutely. Yeah, make sure all those bolts are fucking spec'd down tight. I want to make sure all those panels are done properly. You, Ralph, get off your fucking ass and get off your phone. Yes, sir. And that's also one of the reasons why I have more respect for Ford than I do have GM and other car manufacturers in this country. Because in 2008, during the bailout, Ford did not take a single fucking dollar. When we bailed out the automotive industry in 2008, Ford went, we don't need your money. We're not failing. And all other automotive industries that fucking took that money have yet to fucking pay back a goddamn dime. Made in America my ass.
Well, I do think it's important to make things in America, but I also
I
think
think
we have
it
to
is very
recognize...
important to make things in fucking America because it, in some aspects, does reduce the cost and things like that, and it gives more pride to the things that are being built. But once again, you have to make sure that the people are building them and producing them.
It's not necessarily going to lower the cost because then we have to compete with countries like China, where the labor is very fucking cheap.
Yeah, but the products that they're producing is just like...
But if we make a lot, then we employ a lot. And if we employ a lot, then people can make more of a living wage. And if people make more of a living wage, they can afford to pay a couple more dollars for their child's toy or that new tool that they want because they're making enough money to do so.
Yeah, and because also people don't understand and realize that the products and shit that we're making, they're being consumed the most by the people who are making them. Another thing that pisses me off about the fucking Democratic Party. And Liz Cheney, a Republican, made this comment, and I agree with her 100%, is that the Democrats have no balls when it comes to standing up to basically anything. They want to do the whole, well, our hands are tied, what can we do? You know, fight fire with fire, motherfuckers!
It's like that meme that I saw the other day when we bombed Iran, which is, don't worry, the Democrats are having an intense conversation about the protests they're going to have in 3 months to say that they disagree with this. Like, that's great. By all means, protest. By all means, have a protest in 3 months. Like, that's great. But what are we actually doing about the fact that we just bombed Iran?
And the protest is the American people speaking out. It's not the elected officials.
Well, the elected officials always take part in the protest because it gives them, like, some...
clout?
Yeah.
Yeah, no. What they need to be doing is open investigations and creating committees and bringing people up on charges and shit. And going, no, you violated the Constitution. You want to sit here and talk about being the party that adheres to the Constitution. You violated the fucking Constitution, asshole. Guess what? There's a guillotine right there that fits your fucking neck, proverbially speaking. The Democrats and especially the establishment have no fucking balls. They don't want to create this, ruckus or whatever it is because, for whatever reason, I don't even know. Because they fall in line with the Republicans in the sense that they're like, well, as long as we keep up this visage and we're playing this friendly little game of cat and mouse, even though you guys are destroying this fucking country, and we're just sitting by and go, well, there's nothing that we can do. Our hands are tied because of the Constitution. The Constitution has given you ample opportunities to hold motherfuckers accountable for the bullshit that they've done, and you don't use it. Why? Because you're too worried about upsetting the people who fill your fucking pocket. The fossil fuel industry, big pharma, those are the people that run this fucking country. The ones that fill our tanks and the ones that deaden our brains.
Well, I won't say the big pharma always deadens our brains, but...
more often than not.
It does everything of that Watsky song.
Yeah, vilify the abilify.
They turn our teardrops into diamonds.
Yeah.
Because they make a lot of money off people. Because, I'll admit that I'm on quite a number of medications, and they make a lot of money off of me in the fact that I need all these medications. But...
And as you discovered, you don't need nearly as many of the medications as you fucking thought you did.
No, I've definitely been over medicated for the majority of my life, and it's because they know they can make a lot of money off of me, because they know that someone like me who suffers from depression, anxiety, etc.,
just throw a pill at her.
Just throw a pill at her, and I was over fucking medicated.
Because it costs less money to throw a pill at you than it does to give you access to people who can help you work through whatever it is that you need to work through. And I say that so that you don't fucking just unload laundry on. But the same is with me. I went through some shit and everybody's like, here, you need this pill, you need this pill, you need this pill. And at the end of the day, I was like, these pills are making me feel worse. Okay, let's change them out. Oh, this one makes me want to kill myself and hurt others. So I'm just going to stop taking them. And I stopped taking them without the advice of a goddamn trained, fucking licensed professional.
And people at home, we're not saying go off your medications.
No. If you need your if you legitimately need your medications, fucking take them.
Because we do believe in medications in this household. We just think that...
But make sure you're getting the right...
Make sure you're getting the right ones. Make sure you're not being over-medicated. Make sure that, make sure you have a good conversation with your psychiatrist or your therapist or whoever, to where you're getting what you need and not getting what's going to get them the biggest bang for their buck.
And also, don't fall into this whole fucking bullshit of, constantly talking about your goddamn trauma. If you want to get better, constantly talking about your trauma is not going to help you get better.
Actually, studies show that's not true.
And I've read articles that said that's fucking not true. Talking about your trauma will help you get through it, but constantly, over and over and over again,
not constantly.
That's all you're doing. There's no steps in helping you get better. There's no steps in all right, so when this is happening to you, instead of letting your brain go into, trauma mode, here's what you can do to, help you get through your day and not be triggered by whatever it is and just be produced and be a productive member of society. I feel like therapy helps a lot of people, but if your therapist is just reliving your traumatic events over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, all that's doing is your brain fucking just reliving. I don't want to relive this shit. What I want is for you to help me not relive this shit over and over and over and over and over fucking again.
I'll definitely say that I've had therapists in my time who have helped me move on past some shit by talking about stuff. But I've had some that just re-traumatized me by opening old wounds but never allowing me to close.
Yeah, I think that's bullshit.
I agree. I think that's bullshit. I think that we need an overhaul in a lot of health industries, especially the mental health industry.
And also, someone like me, if I go in and be like, hey, listen, I've been through some bullshit and there's something blocking me, and I just want to, move forward and do some shit and be a productive member again, and I don't have my focus and shit. I've accepted that bad shit's happened. Okay? I can't change it. There's nothing I can do that changed it. And I don't think you sitting here going, well, why don't you tell me about it and we can relive that. It's going to help me. No. Alright, cool. You accepted your fate and that bad shit has happened. You can't do anything about it? Yeah. And you want to stop bullshit from popping up? Yeah. Alright, cool. Here's some exercises that you can do to keep that shit from popping up. If you've accepted the fact that bad shit has happened to you, and there's nothing you can do to fucking change it, you can't go back in time and fucking undo it, there's no point in fucking, in my opinion, just going back and be like, oh yeah, no, this happened to me. Well, we need to address that so that you can move on. I've moved on, fucker. I just need this shit to stop popping up. And then somebody be like, well, apparently you haven't moved on because that's why it keeps popping up. Yeah, guess what? I don't want to fucking have to relive it. So why don't you just give me the goddamn equation? You'd be like, alright, fuck it.
I don't know if there is an equation.
There's an equation to fucking anything. Except 42.
42.
The life, the universe, and everything.
Life, the universe, and everything. We don't know what the question is, but the answer is 42.
The answer is 40 fucking 2. Which I'm about to be 42.
You're about to have your life, the universe, and everything here.
I'm about to be a sandwich maker. For all you Douglas Adams fans out there. And if you're not Douglas Adams fans, go read Hitchhiker's Guide to Everything. All of them. Not
the
just
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, Life, the Universe, and Everything, So Long and Thanks for All the Fish, all of it. Read all of it.
The Restaurant at the End of the Universe.
The Restaurant at the End of the Universe.
Yeah, no.
Read all of it, because it's
also,
amazing.
Read a little Terry Pratchett, too.
I'm just going to say, yellow.
I'm just gonna say blue suitcase.
There is one thing that Terry Pratchett said in one of his books, and I'm gonna paraphrase here, and you can probably do it so much better than I can because you're such a Terry Pratchett fan.
I love.
But the economics of boots.
The economics of boots. All right. So
It's fucking true, man. It's fucking true.
the economics of boots basically explains economics and social hierarchy to a T. So rich people, when they buy a pair of boots, they buy high-end pair of boots, and they will spend like $500 on a
Very
pair of
good boots.
on a very good pair of boots. These boots will last them the rest of their fucking lives. And if you're an individual, let's say you're 20 years old. We'll take a 20-year-old rich person versus a 20-year-old poor person. A 20-year-old rich person will spend $500 on a pair of boots, and that boot will last him the rest of his fucking life. That poor person will spend $50 to $100 on a pair of boots, and he will have to buy a new pair of boots every year for the rest of his fucking life.
So in the end, the poor person ends up spending more money on boots. The person who can't afford boots ends up spending more money on boots because he can't afford the good boots to begin with. Because he needs boots now, he doesn't have the time to save up $500 for a pair of boots.
Yep. And Terry Pratchett also has another great little, not really quote, but a little paragraph that says, "You can spend your life wishing upon a star, hoping all your dreams come true. But somebody will come along who has spent the time to work hard and do the work and get the job done, will beat your fucking ass in whatever it is what you're trying to do." Now I'm paraphrasing and not getting the right words, but if you're gonna spend your life sitting around wishing upon a star, oh, I wish someday I will be successful in the life that I live. Well, guess what? That star that you're wishing upon, is already dead. So your wish is dead. And the person that's gone ahead and gonna be like, yeah, no, fuck that star. I got fucking work to do. I'm gonna spend a couple of years to get that work done so that I can be successful in my life. Has already surpassed you and is looking at you going, what a fucking dumbass.
Although I will say that sometimes hard work isn't enough.
Now, I will say, in this country, that, and also, especially depending on your fucking skin tone, hard work just isn't enough. Not really dependent. It does depend on your skin tone, but it also depends on your, socioeconomic fucking position in this world, in this country.
Depends on a lot of things.
You're born poor or middle class or whatnot. Because if you were born poor, your parents definitely brought you up differently than a middle class person. And then a rich person definitely brought you up differently than fucking middle class or even poor. Because if you're poor, you're a lot less educated. You have no idea of a lot of the shit that's available to you that could help you rise above your station. And you have to fight and struggle and just dig in more to get what you want versus somebody who's in, the middle class and if you're in the rich category, you don't have to struggle at all. It's called fucking nepotism. So hard work, I agree, doesn't always just pay off. The American dream where they'll be like, hard work and you can live comfortably in this country. No.
That hasn't been true.
It's a fucking...
Since we were children.
That American dream died.
With Clinton's blowjob.
No, it died before that.
I mean... Things were going pretty good economically during Clinton's reign, but it died with Clinton's blowjob. No, it died well before that. Trickle-down economics killed the American dream. But Clinton was bringing us back from that a little bit. We were doing pretty good in the 90s. Economically, we were doing pretty good in the 90s.
Yeah, but all right, on average, like once again, you look at it on average. Like you put somebody who makes $1 million versus somebody who makes fucking $50,000 a year, and say on average they're going to save a certain amount of money, it's because the fucking person who's making $1 million eschews the fucking average. I won't say that things weren't looking slightly better during the early 90s and shit, or late 90s when fucking Clinton was in office. But we had the Defense of the Marriage Act during the goddamn Clinton.
Yes, that's not economics. That's That's social.
Social fucking shit affects economics.
Yes, but I'm just saying, like,
And minimum wage.
Clinton was not perfect. He made a lot of fucking mistakes.
Minimum wage wasn't raised during Clinton. There was a lot of shit.
Minimum wage was raised while I was a teenager.
No.
It went from $6.25 to $7.25.
No. Minimum wage was $5.15 when we were kids. And that shit didn't go until $7.25 until 2000. Because I remember working in high school before I graduated in 2000. I think Bush actually fucking helped raise the minimum wage. It's one of the things that they fucking used to help keep Republicans fucking in line. Because until 2001,
in 96 it went up, in 97 it went up, and then it didn't go up again until 2007. So it was raised while we were teenagers.
What was the so 96?
In 96 it went up to
$5.15.
$4.75. It went in 97 it went up to $5.15.
Yeah, and even then, like you're raising it how much? Fucking 40 cents.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean. It's like getting a raise at work for like a quarter or 50 cents. Oh, you gave me an extra, if you gave me 50 cents a fucking dollar, a raise, you gave me an extra $20 a fucking week. $20 a fucking week. When the cost of everything has gone up so much that $20, what does that cover? My gas? And gas has fucking gone up?
Well, gas was pretty cheap also in the 90s. Comparatively, it didn't really go up and stay up until after 9/11. Because I remember being able to fill up on $20.
Yeah, I remember when gas was fucking less than $1 a gallon.
Yep.
Wasn't driving yet.
I just started driving.
I think when I started driving, gas was $1.07.
I can remember when it was less than $1 a gallon, and I would fill
Well, I
up.
can remember when it was less than $1 a gallon, but I wasn't driving yet.
Yeah, I just started driving.
Let's see.
I just started driving, because technically I started driving when I was 14, but I was legally driving, like, at 16 when it was under a dollar a gallon.
Yeah, so, and things like that, like, okay, you raised the minimum wage from $4.75 to $5.15. You've given everybody an extra $40 a week. Well, not even. Not even. Because if you work fucking 40 hours a week, you only get an extra 40 cents. It's not even fucking.
It's $4, $16.
Yeah. No, it'd be more than that. Because if you gave them 25 cents.
You give them an extra $4, you give them 40 cents, you give them an extra $4 per 10 hours.
Well, yeah, because 50 cents would be $16.
Yep, $16. You give them an extra $16. Which back then, $16 would buy a lot.
The $16 would fucking fill your gas up.
And fill your tank, it would fucking buy,
That's about it, depending on what you're driving.
It'd buy a fair amount of groceries.
$16?
I'm not saying it'd buy like a lot of groceries, I'm just saying it would buy a fair amount of groceries. Like today, $16 will buy you like, a
loaf of bread and some fucking lunch meat.
Yeah. Back then, you could buy like some hamburger helper and some tuna helper and.
Yeah, but you couldn't buy the fucking meat to put it in.
You could buy the meat to put it in. You could buy like a couple meals for $16.
Back to these fucking sensitive nutsack fucking damn Democrats.
But we don't have a better option.
No, we do. But they keep getting pushed out.
Well, Democrats are the better option. It's just the Democrats that are getting stomped on are the better option.
Because also at the same time, like.
And they're not being stomped on by the people, they're being stomped on by the establishment, which is what pisses me off.
Yeah, because also at the same time, we have one of the best candidates that we can fucking hope for in the next goddamn presidential election, and we don't see any coverage of him at all. Pete Buttigieg.
Yeah.
And Pete's gone on like Flagrant and a bunch of these other podcasts and shit, talking about, no, we need to reach across the aisle. Not necessarily reach across the aisle, but reach across to the people of across the aisle. Because Pete has basically said, I don't want to talk to Republican elected officials. I want to talk to the Republican people and go, hey, I get that you have concerns. I understand that your concerns are valid, but let me also tell you how the other side has lived. Nobody, and even I will say it, the establishment, period, whether it's fucking Democrat, Republican, the establishment does not want people who are for the people. The establishment does not want what's written on our fucking Constitution. The first fucking 3 goddamn words. We the people. Because the establishment knows that if we the people have power, they are fucked.
Agreed. Hard agree.
And they're using these circus fucking routines. It's like goddamn Barker's 3-ring circus, where there's like certain topics that they constantly rotate against: guns rights, trans rights, and fucking whatever they can fill in the third one at the time. Guns rights will always occupy one of the 3 rings of the fucking, because it's so fucking hot. And then like the other 2 rings of the goddamn circus are filled in with whatever's hot at the moment. Right now it's trans rights, and the fucking other one is hell, I don't even fucking know. Voting rights.
Here's the thing. I think that if we get a message for the people out there, all the other progressive ideas that we stand for will come with it. Like, if we can get people on, because what people want to vote on, and I hate to say this, because I am absolutely 100% for trans rights. I think trans people are people. I think they have the right to exist. I think that, like, trans people, like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts to that. Trans people are fucking people. But I don't think that that's what people vote on. I think that people vote on what's going to best help them. Can I afford rent? Can I afford groceries?
Can I afford health care?
Am I going to make a living wage? Am I going to, be bombed out of existence because we upset fucking Iran?
But, like, they use, like, PowerPoints or power topics like trans rights, but, like, oh, we can't have, men competing in women's sports despite what they might think that they are. Because the Bible doesn't say a fucking thing. Here, I'm going to pull... there's a Senator Wong, I'm sorry to butcher your name. He gave this remarkable speech on what, like gay rights. This is the speech he said that this is what Jesus had to say about homosexuals in the Bible. You ready?
No.
And that's it. That silence that you heard is exactly what Jesus said about fucking homosexuals in the goddamn Bible. You know what else they said about the Bible about abortion rights?
Life begins at the first breath.
Life begins at the first fucking breath. And the life of the mother is more important than the life of the unborn fucking child. So stop keeping women in a medically induced state so you can harvest their fucking children.
Oh yeah, her body was rotting.
Because you think you're adding to God's army. Well, guess what? If you don't baptize that fucking child, it does not get included into God's fucking army.
Which we don't even believe anyway.
Right.
But there brings to mind the famous case of the woman who was just allowed to fully pass because she'd been kept alive by artificial means. She was rotting. That's how dead she was. She was rotting. That's one of the reasons they had to pull the baby from her. She was rotting from the inside out, and they kept her alive, just alive enough to harvest a baby from her body.
Now, once that baby's alive, what then? Because you've cut all the fucking services and programs and everything that child needs to stay fucking alive and grow into a goddamn world and shit that it needs.
And keep in mind that it was I don't want to say birth because it wasn't given birth to. It was taken out of.
It was harvested.
It was harvested. That's a good word. Yes, it was harvested prematurely due to the fact that the mother was rotting.
Because there was no goddamn brain activity.
There was no brain activity.
And now we have these goddamn what's that Republican senator who had an ectopic or
I'm not sure how to help you with that.
Ectopic fucking pregnancy, and it was lined up to cause major fucking complications, and she had to plead with the governor who did not respond.
See,
and then she wanted to blame it on the goddamn Democrats because she couldn't get a fucking abortion?
Yeah, it's not the Democrats' fault. We tried to protect your right to abortion, bitch, but you decided that...
Yeah, you wanted to say no. No, Planned Parenthood, blah, blah, blah.
Planned Parenthood helps you with ectopic pregnancies, woman. Like, if you...
And also, Planned Parenthood doesn't perform abortions. It gives you access to medical facilities that will.
No, Planned Parenthood performs abortions.
Does it?
It is, but there's no federal funding for it. You have to pay out of pocket unless your insurance pays for it.
Well, the insurance won't pay for it because, well.
Some insurance will pay for an abortion. Depends on the abortion. But to go back to that woman for a second, because I think it's key to note in that woman's story that it was against her family's wishes too.
I want to find her name because we have to respect her enough to.
Yes. I know her name, but I can't think of it right now. But it was against her family's wishes, which I think takes a whole different, more twisted turn on it. Because I think it's one thing if I, a woman, let's say I still had a uterus and I got pregnant and I was in a horrific car accident and I was dead. If you decided that I should stay alive to keep that baby alive, well, you know me, you're my husband. Maybe that's what I would want to happen. Maybe I would want my body to be used in that way. So okay, I can kind of respect that. But if I have a living will that says I don't, or I had voiced my opinion that I didn't, or it's against the family's wishes, like you don't want that to happen to my body either, then who the fuck is the state to say I have to stay alive through artificial means?
Adriana Smith.
Adriana Smith.
I'm sorry, Adriana Smith and your family, for what you guys had to deal with, because Georgia fucking failed you.
Definitely.
And we owe you the respect of naming you and giving you the courtesy of making sure that people fucking know who you were. Adriana fucking Smith.
Because her family, Adriana Smith's family, did not want that to happen to her. Like, it was against the family's wishes. So the people who knew her best said, this is not what she would want. And the state said, we don't fucking give a shit.
You know what they ended up naming the baby? Smith's family?
Huh.
I mean...
Fitting.
It's fitting, but at the same time, sorry, Chance. You should have never been fucking born.
Shouldn't have been. And I shouldn't have been. My mother apparently wanted to have an abortion when she was pregnant with me. And it was completely within her rights to have that abortion. I'd rather her have had that abortion and me not have been born to an unloving family than for her to have forced through that pregnancy the way she was. So maybe she'd be in a better place mentally had she not been forced to go through that pregnancy.
Yeah, no. I was born because my mama said she didn't want to fucking take birth control anymore. My dad was like, what? Yeah, I'm tired of taking birth control. Okay, I got condoms. Guess what? The condom didn't work. Here I am, motherfucker! Just because there's a goalie doesn't mean you can't score.
So with that, you got any last thoughts on the Democratic establishment?
Yeah, fuck you. Let the fucking people speak. Let us fucking resonate the fucking first 3 words of our goddamn Constitution and bring forth a new goddamn era where we, the people, actually have fucking power.
My final words to the Democratic establishment is don't be so adamant to stand against the people that you stand with Trump supporters. Because you're standing on the wrong side of history there and you know it. You know it.
You know what this also reminds me of? Don't tread on me.
The true meaning of don't tread on me, not what they've used it for in this twisted
Oh yeah, the ones that perverted the Punisher skull.
Oh yeah, because the Punisher is not, he would not have had a thin blue line.
Yeah.
He was very much against the cops.
And if you're going to fly a don't tread on me flag, you're not also going to fly a fucking we support the police flag.
No, those do not go together.
What is the name of that guy name?
I know the name of it, but I can't think of it right now.
No, hang on. Gadsden?
The Gadsden flag, yes.
Yeah, the Gadsden flag. Don't tread on me. Fly your Gadsden flag, but fly it fucking truly. Whether it be against the establishment, Democrat, Republic, or whatever it is. And
Both.
Don't you fucking dare fly a Gadsden flag and fly a fucking Blue Lives Matter flag.
They don't go together.
Because
They don't
that
go
is
together.
the contradiction.
The juxtaposition.
Yeah.
So, that is all that we have for you today. Thank you for listening. Be sure to like us and subscribe on all the places. We are everywhere like herpes.
Bye, love you.